I'm alive. Welcome everyone to another episode of FPL Focal. How are we all doing? Hope you're all well. It's Gameweek 24. Sorry about the technical issues at the start there. I've got a brand new microphone, so hopefully the audio sounds good. It's the first time I'm using it. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. I was previously using this wireless headset, but now I've got a proper microphone on my desk. But what I didn't anticipate right as I hit go live is that this is usually what I use for listening to the music and what's on the stream. So I don't know what went wrong there, but luckily I've got the earphones and they're working. And Teddy's here as well. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Game week 24, double game week 24. 25 here already, emotion aside. How we doing? Adam, Aiden, Danny, Dara, Dylan, Einar. Finn, James, Kieran, how we doing? Hope everyone's well. Can you hear the music okay as well? I'm gonna have to do some testing before the next stream. I've got the levels way off now because I'm not sure if it's the right volume to be picked up on stream. Hopefully the music's audible but not too loud. James says, I missed the last one because of the time difference, but looking forward to a good week. Ah, okay, yeah. Whereabouts are you based, James? It's interesting you bring that up, actually, because I applied for the Discord partner program this week, and it can show you things like where the users are based from. And obviously the majority is UK, but there's quite a split. There's quite a lot of viewers from the USA, from Singapore, from India. So quite a broad collection of FPL managers here in the chat. But good to have you all here. Ida says, took everything within me not to wildcard this week. Would you do DCL to Richarlison for a hit or Fabianski to Pope for a hit? Depends who you'd start instead. Have you got a decent option off your bench? In my case, I've got Sufal, for example, to come off the bench. So for me, it's not worth taking a hit. I could potentially make a move this week, but I'm probably going to just roll the transfer. Richarlison's an interesting one. He's not scored since game week 13. Scored in the FA Cup as Everton knocked Tottenham out. And, if they get a goal, it's going to likely come through him, or he's going to have some involvement. Babel's from Singapore as well. There is a Singapore collective in the Discord, more than I realised. One of the Discord mods actually is from Singapore. The first moderator on our Discord. Anyway, glad you can hear the music. I will have to do some proper testing. That's my bad. Hopefully these sounds alright as well with this brand new microphone. Anyway, loads to get through on this one. I'm going to have to, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to get through it all. I've put together quite a bit. So we've got the news roundup, scout pick, Kings of the Game Week update, clean sheet odds, goal scorer odds, the double game week fixtures, the ones we know and the ones that are likely, the captain poll, expected points, and for anyone that remembers the old Who's That Player minigame, I've put together a few more. So we're going to play Who's That Player later on. 3 new players. Nevis says, the boiler's broken, so now I have no heating or hot water. And it hit minus 21 last night. Bloody hell. Hope you're wrapped up. I can see in your profile pic you've got, looks like some mountains, some Alps. I'm just realising as well the live chat's not working on screen. I've been on a good streak of no technical issues, and now here we are again with a multitude of technical issues. Let me just quickly add the live chat onto the stream. Sorry guys. And that should do it. Perfect. Right then. Oh, emotion aside, spotted it at exactly the same time. Yeah, hopefully the live chat's there now. Anyway, onto the stream. As I say, loads to get through in this one. So let's start with a quick news roundup. Starting with Man City, Ruben Diaz came back today. So this was Pep Guardiola in his news conference yesterday. So that's good news because he was a doubt. He had, I suppose, a stomach bug. So fingers crossed it hasn't affected him enough to put him on the bench against Tottenham. I don't think it will, unless it was a serious bug. But he was back in training, so you'd think he'd be fine. And they certainly will need him for that Tottenham game. Likewise, Aguero's back for the second training session, and De Bruyne's still out. Fernandinho and Ake also still out. On to Everton. So regarding DCL, Ancelotti said that he will not be available for the game on Sunday. So that's a really annoying one. I should also mention Pickford, which is also who he was talking about here. But I think it's DCL we all care about because he's got or would have had the double game week. And of course he misses the first game of the double, which is Fulham. So annoyingly, he's probably going to just be back for the second game of the double, which is Man City. So it's basically a single game week for DCL at best. So with that in mind, I don't think it's worth starting him if you've got a decent bench. In my case, I've got Antonio and Watkins as alternative striker options. So DCL is actually going to be my bench, despite having the double game week, since it looks like you'll just play the second of the double. So regarding Wolf Zaha, Hodgson said it's only 1 week in and it'll take more time to recover. So he hasn't said much there, but he has basically said that Zaha's out for this weekend's fixture. So that's good news in terms of clean sheet odds. They play... Who do Palace play? Palace play... I can't remember who Palace play. Palace play Burnley. Right, of course. Good. Obviously, that's why I included it in the news segment, because Palace play Burnley. And of course, Burnley have the double game week. So that's good news for anyone that's got a defensive Burnley asset. So the likes of me, Tarkowski, Pope, Lowton, they're all fairly popular picks just for the double. Antonio missed the midweek FA Cup game against Man United. But Moyes said Antonio's doing well and will hopefully be close for the weekend after returning to training. So, yeah, hopefully Antonio will be back and we'll start the game against Sheffield at home, which is a good fixture on paper. It was slightly worrying that he didn't even make the squad, as I say, against Man United, but looks like he is back. Just quickly onto the scout pick. Sorry for the really low res version. I did take a higher res version, but I lost it and I didn't have time to get it again before going live. This is the scout pick team for Gameweek 24. So they've got Pope in goal, Diaz, Digne, me, Sterling captain, Gundogan, Bruno, James, Lookman, Richarlison and Cavani. So they have gone all in on the double game week assets here, rightly so. So this is of course something we'll track each week to see how the scout does following the double game week. Some interesting picks here. James, I'm not sure what the chances are he plays both. He's just seemed so in and out of the team this season. That was one move that I feel like got absolutely spot on this season. I had Ali in Game Week 1 and I sold him straight away for James. And James obviously went on a decent run thereafter and hauled for a few game weeks in a row. And then I sold him right as he got injured. And yeah, since then he's not been a good FPL asset. Interesting one though. Sergio, how we doing, mate? He says, when are you planning to wildcard? I actually haven't decided exactly when I will yet. My early plan was to wildcard in 26, but I was looking at my team last night and I don't know if it needs a wildcard. I mean, if you look at the players I've got, you know, I can field a full 11 of double game week players. So I was playing around with some potential transfers, such as selling DCL for Bamford next game week. Maybe selling Antonio for Kane, and then probably just downgrading Rashford to a cheap midfielder. I don't know exactly who. Let's just say for argument's sake, someone mid-price like Saka. And then I can actually field a 3-4-3. The other move I'd probably do is Soof out to a lease defender. So for example, Dallas. Something like that. So I could do that, with just one hit, and then I'd end up building Bamford and Dallas for double Gameweek 25, and then I'd have a decent 3-4-3 for the double. So it feels like it's not actually worth a wildcard. So that's why, to answer your question, I'm actually not sure when I'll use it, because it doesn't look necessary when I look at my team. I mean, wildcards are really exciting, and it's really tempting to just hit the button, but yeah, I don't know if I actually need it for 26. My team's in decent shape, really. Adam asks, how's Aguero as a differential? He's still got to keep asking a question. One day he might be, Adam. One day he might become an actual differential. Adam's been asking about Aguero since probably game week 5, and so far to date it's been the same answer every stream, but he could emerge as a differential eventually. Kieran asks, will Aguero start versus Spurs? I think he probably won't. Pep tends to give Aguero some substitute minutes first, just to build him up to match fitness and, you know, match sharpness. So I can't see him just chucking Aguero in against Spurs, which is a massive game. And City have been doing absolutely fine without Aguero, so I think more likely we'll see Jesus up front. Yeah, Kieran raises a good point. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with penalties, since Gundogan missed the last penalty. In fact, was asked a question, and he said in his conference, Edison has to save goals, and after that we'll see what happens. Now Aguero's out and Kevin's not here, it is an option of Edison taking penalties. And then he says, of course it is. And he says, it finishes with, the penalty taker has to have personality. I don't know if that's a dig at Gundogan, saying that Gundogan's got no personality, but yeah, interesting. Imagine Edison on penalties. It'd break the game, wouldn't it? Morning, Ollie. How we doing, mate? Dylan says, I'm wildcarding next week. Is Pope a good goalkeeper to go for? Do you mean for next week or for this? For this week, he's a great option, definitely. He's got the double game week. Palace away, Fulham at home. As we saw in the news roundup just now, Palace missing Zaha still. And they're very toothless about him. Obviously not nearly as attacking or putting up the same attacking numbers. A lot less likely to score. I think we saw they failed to score last game week in 23. Yeah, they played Leeds. Leeds, of course, renowned for being a leaky side, but Leeds kept a clean sheet with the absence of Zaha. Kitty, how are we doing, mate? He says, Folk, I hope you're well. What made you choose starting Son over Soufal? I think what made me decide that was, at the back of my head I was remembering the game early this season where Mourinho got it absolutely perfect and Kane and Son between them were able to exploit City. So I'd really just kick myself if I bench Son, and you know, it's a similar game again. And I don't know, I feel like Son's probably got a higher ceiling than Soufal. Could be famous last words, but yeah, I'm just going to start Son. I think it's crazy to be benching a player as expensive as Son and the quality he has. You know, he's got individual brilliance as well. You know, even if it is a dominant City game, Son's got it in him to create something out of nothing. So yeah, he's in my starting 11. Soufal first on bench. I have to say, in a way, the DCL injury did take away some of the headache in terms of who to start, because before the DCL injury, I had Soufal and then basically Antonio or Watkins, and I had to bench 2 of those 3. So it was a bit of a nightmare, and I still got to bench Soufal as it is. So in a way, the DCL's been a bit of a blessing, because at least I definitely start those 2 strikers. And Soufal's the only headache, really. Joey says, if Aguero begins starting, I'll be bringing him in. Man's the greatest player in FPL history. Yeah, he's definitely well up there. I mean, what do you guys think about Aguero? Do you think he's past it now? Or do you think he can still get back to his best? maybe it's recency bias, but it feels like so long since we saw peak Aguero. You know, maybe even last season was peak Aguero. Well, not even peak, but, you know, near his best. So it just feels like it's difficult for him to get back to that point now. And he's not getting any younger, I hate to say. But I absolutely love Aguero as a player. Monkey Man says he would start Sufal over Son. Oh, don't make me doubt my moves, Monkey Man. If there's anyone we should listen to, it's Monkey Man. He's, I think he's sitting in the top 2k overall, right? Having an outstanding season. If all goes well this game week, hopefully I'll break into the top 100k, but we'll have to see. Don't want to jinx it. It's been a very up and down season so far. For those that have, you know, watched for a while, some of my moves have been horror shows and some have been great. Stones was an absolute masterstroke, but on the other hand, selling Salah before he came off the bench and hauled against Palace was an absolute disaster. Likewise was selling him for Rashford, who blanked against Leeds. So yeah, it's been an up and down season so far. What overall rank are you guys, chat? Emotional size, Captain, Gundogan or Sterling? It's a really tough one between Gundogan and Sterling. If I had Sterling, I'd probably pick him. I think they're about even, so therefore I'd go for the differential, but really tough one to call between them two. I think Sterling just edges it, but I don't have him, so Gundogan's got the armband for me. Kieran asks, Focal, what do you think about Captain and Bruno? Yeah, so it's an interesting one, because when there's a double game week, logic says to go for the double game week player, and I would say, yeah, mathematically it makes sense. Gundogan's got more expected points than Bruno. However, Bruno does have West Brom away, which is an excellent fixture on paper. And maybe we should look at the Goalscorer Odds. I think it depends if you've got someone like Gundogan or Sterling. If you don't, then I think Bruno's probably the best option. But if you don't, I would go for one of the City assets. Kieran's 5k, very solid. Joey's 50k, respectable ranks in chat. And Monkey Man's sitting just outside the top 1.1k. Hopefully break back inside the top 1.1k, Monkey Man. Let's have a look at the Goalscorer Odds first of all. So Leicester versus Liverpool, 53% chance of Salah scoring that one. I don't think he's in anyone's thinking there. For West Brom versus Man United, that's one that sticks out. Cavani 53% chance, Bruno 52, so really massive odds for scoring a goal. Man City versus Spurs, you think this could be a low scoring game, which is why, you know, there is some logic in going Bruno, because you can imagine this being a tight 1-0 game, 2-0 game at best. Gundogan 45% chance of a goal, Sterling 46, Jesus 47. Heartbreaking to see DCL there with a 50.3% chance, but no chance of starting that Fulham game, according to Ancelotti. Oh, can you imagine the fraudulence if DCL is actually fine and Ancelotti pulls a Mourinho? Dylan says my bench is Grealish, Martinez, Sufal and Alonso. My bench boost in 19 only got 12 points. Cost solid bench this week. There's no way you can start Grealish. Let's have a look at the clean sheet odds. I mean, again, Chelsea have got a 54% chance. I suppose Alonso started midweek in the FA Cup against Barnsley, so perhaps Chilwell starts, which might take away some of your headache there. But yeah, Chelsea the highest for clean sheet odds in Gameweek 24, with a 54% chance against Newcastle. Man City with a 47% chance against Tottenham. Seems really high, doesn't it? West Ham 41% chance, which I don't like to see as someone who's benching Sufal. Sujit, I'm getting severe FOMO with Sterling. Despite Gundo numbers having been decent, Sterling's shot inside the box are way more. Have you got triple City, Sujit? I mean, if you've got triple City, I don't think it's worth chopping and changing. And likewise, if you've only got one transfer, I don't think it's worth it. But anyway, back to the Bruno question, because I did want to answer that in more detail. So this is West Brom's last 6 home matches. So they conceded 2, 5, 4, 5, 3 and 5. 24 goals conceded in the last 6 home games. So that's an average of 4 per game, if my mental maths is correct. So there's absolutely justification in going Bruno. He's not a bad option by any means, despite having the single game week. And if we dig even deeper, this is the attacking stats over the last 4. Let me zoom out a bit. There we go. So over the last 4 game weeks, you can see United are topping all metrics here. Goals scored, expected goals scored, shots on target, and big chances. So as I say, it could be one of those game weeks where everyone's piling on the double game week players, but it ends up being the likes of a Bruno that actually comes out on top. So if you captain Bruno this game week, I think there's a lot of logic in it. Long story short. If anyone hasn't yet voted in the captain poll, don't forget to get your vote in on the Discord. Link to the Discord in the description below. We will check the results in a minute. I've not actually looked at them at all, so it's going to be interesting to see who you guys have voted for this game week. Whether anyone's gone for a single game weeker like Bruno, or whether the majority of you are going for double game weekers, the likes of a City player or maybe a Burnley defender. Grove, is DCL confirmed out? Yeah, so Ancelotti said he'll miss the first game this weekend. Ancelotti's words. As I say, hopefully he's not doing a Mourinho and he's actually fired, but that's what he's told us. So DCL effectively would be fit for the City game. So basically be a single game week if that's true for DCL, and not an appealing one with City being that fixture. Yeah, good point, Dylan. So he does say Man United have got those stats because of the Southampton game. So yeah, you're right, that could skew the stats somewhat, but I'd imagine they would still be fairly up there in attacking stats, even if that game had finished half the scoreline. What a statement to say, half the scoreline. But yeah, I mean, even if that finished 4-0, 3-0, I think Man United stats would still be pretty decent over the last 4. So just briefly, to touch on the double game weeks. This is the double game week fixture ticker. There is a link to this in the description if anyone wants to look at it. But this is how we're shaping up as it stands for game week 24 and 25. These are the doubles that we do know. So obviously this game week is Burnley, Fulham, Everton and Man City doubling. And then in 25, Leeds and Southampton are the 2 teams that double. Once we get the double game week 26 fixtures, I will update this ticker, and of course it will be on future streams because there's a lot to talk about with these double game weeks, and they're a big opportunity to fill up the ranks if you pick the right players. Hence the title of this video, double game week season. It does feel like that point. It's double game week season. We're going to have 3 double game weeks in a row, potentially more than that. Double game week 27, 28 is not out of the question either. So this is Ben Crellin's double game week fixture ticker. Again, you can see the doubles here in 24 and 25. So this is an alternative way of looking at it. But what this also includes is the speculative doubles in 26. And he's color coded them here based on the likelihood that they happen. So these ones that are kind of a brownish color are very, very likely double game weeks. So you can see there's some very notable teams here likely to double in 26. The likes of City, Villa, Tottenham, Man United. And then some teams like Liverpool are also very likely, 70 to 85% chance, he speculates, of them having a double game week in 26. So it's a crucial point of the season. And I know it's a bit of a headache, as some in chat have said, when it gets to this point of the season and there's so much to think about and digest. But I will do my best on every stream to break it down And all we need to worry about right now is the doubles in 24 and 25. There's no point thinking too much about 26 yet because we don't know what the fixtures will be. However, they will be announced within the next week. It could be today even, we don't know exactly when. I'm sure in the background they're just doing all the admin work for lining up these doubles, and then we'll know more. And ignoring the doubles, there's also the blanks to remember. So in game week 29, it's going to be a blank game week, in the sense that all these teams here in red won't be playing that week. The teams in green up here will be. And then Villa versus Tottenham is expected to also drop into 29, but we don't have confirmation of that yet. So those that have used your free hit already, this is something just to have at the back of your head, because once you get to game week 29, you're going to want to have players playing in that game if you don't have a free hit to navigate that blank. And to be honest, if we do end up seeing Villa versus Tottenham drop into game week 29, then it doesn't look that difficult to navigate. You know, Leeds have got some great assets. You could have Bamford for that game, potentially one of the defenders because it's Fulham. Villa you could triple up on. Spurs you could double up on, Son and Kane. And then you're basically covered. You know, all of the key assets for the double that people with a free hit are going to have anyway. You know, in my case, I didn't use the free hit in blank game week 18, but I had a lot of the key players that people had for that week, like Bruno, Rashford, the City players. So for me, it was fairly easy to navigate the blank, and it was only a small red arrow, even though I only fielded 7 players. So don't worry too much if you do arrive at the double and you don't have a strong team. As long as you've got the key players covered, then you're not as exposed and less likely to drop in rank. Anyway, deep breath. That's the doubles and blanks covered there. Egan asks, thoughts on your front two? On my front two, Antonio and Watkins. Pretty decent fixtures for both of them, especially West Ham playing Sheffield at home. Brighton, we have seen a massive resurgence in their defensive form, so it could be a tough game for Villa, but I'm more than happy to have Watkins play in that game. And as I say, before the DCL injury, I had a massive headache on my hands with who to bench, because obviously DCL was going to be starting, so then it was a question of who to bench. And it was between Watkins and Son for me. And, you know, you don't really want to be benching either Watkins or Son in any game week. But no, I'm fairly happy with the front two. And next week I'll potentially move DCL onto Bamford. And then I'm thinking about moving Antonio on for Kane for double game week 26. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. We're half an hour, just under half an hour to the deadline. Don't forget to like the video while you're here. It helps other people find the stream on YouTube. So appreciate you all being here. Danny, Denzel, Dylan, Kitty, Golf, James, Joey, Keegan, Marco, Ollie, Ryan, Stuart. Good to have you all here. Don't forget to subscribe as well. According to the YouTube analytics, 1 in 3 of you aren't subscribed. So do subscribe. Do get involved in chat. If you're a lurker rather than someone who gets involved in chat, get involved. Good to have you all here. I think since we're at the halfway mark, I think it would be a good time to play Who's That Player? So for anyone that hasn't played before, I'm going to show you a cutout of some players. Like the old Pokemon style cutouts. Can you remember that from back in the day? So here's the first one. Who's that player? If you need any clues, I will give clues, but I'll start you off with that. A couple of you have got it already. Yeah, this one's quite hard. I'm not going to lie. Maybe I shouldn't have started with a hard one. The next one's quite difficult as well. It's not Foden, it's not Kante. Not Traore. Grove got it. Vishesh got it. Arif got it. Aiden got it. Carl got it. It was Souček. The big man. He's got quite a round head, isn't he? I think that's part of the giveaway. It's funny you notice some of these little features about players that kind of gives it away. On to the next one. Who is that player? I think this one's even tougher. Growth calling Souček the GOAT. This one's tougher. Any ideas, chat, who this one is? Oh, Martinelli's a good chat, Ben. It's not Martinelli, but it actually really looks like his cutout. It's not Edison. Not Rafinha. Not Ayew. Not DCL. Dylan and Golf got this one. It was Ruben Diaz. Who we all hope will be fine for this double game week. And we all hope will return back-to-back clean sheets for us. Well done, Dylan and Golf, for getting that one. That one was a tougher one. Hopefully you'll get this last one. You ready for the last one? Who is that player? Let's see lots of guesses for this one. Surely you guys know this one. Let's see some guesses in the chat. So, Grove guesses Antonio, Carl Antonio, Dylan Antonio, Suresh Antonio, Golf Antonio, James Antonio, Aiden Antonio, Emotional Side Antonio, Danny Antonio. Traore was a bit of a red herring there. I can see why you'd say Traore. It looks like him on the cutout. But you guys got it. It was Antonio. I think the hair gives it away a little bit, right? Anyway, thank you for playing that game. Back to FPL. Break time is over. Get back to work. So have you guys got your captain votes in on the poll on the Discord? We'll have a look at the results in a second. It's going to be an interesting one this week to see where people have gone. Whether they've gone for a single game week player like Bruno, or going for a double game week player like Gundogan or Sterling, or whether a defender has lured some people, the likes of Diaz, Stones, Cancelo, me, Tarkowski, Pope even. 2 out of 3 for Aiden. Decent, decent. I'll try to remember to do more of those. It's been a little while since the last one, but it's a good fun little game. I threw that together about 20 minutes before the stream. Suddenly remembered I hadn't done one for a while. Anyway, on to the captain results. Captain poll results, rather. Let's see how you guys have voted. Wow, okay, so 66 votes for Gundogan. Followed by 21 for Sterling. And then 16 for Bruno. 7 votes for Pope. Just 1 vote for me. 1 for Cancelo, 1 for Stones. 6 people voted other. If anyone in chat has voted other, or your captain doesn't appear on the poll, I'd be interested to know who you've gone for. I suppose Foden could be a one. Foden's a very risky one. High risk, high reward kind of pick. You know, if he has another game like he did against Liverpool, then you're laughing. But, you know, it's hard to guarantee he plays both in the double. Interesting. If anyone does want to join the Discord who's not in it, there's a link in the description. Have to plug it then. I couldn't resist plugging the Discord. Really genuinely useful FPL resource, which I'm sure anyone in chat who's in the Discord can attest to. It's got things like the price changes, the lineups, live scores, injury updates, bonus points, game week stats. So once the game week goes live, we'll see who's the most captain, vice captain, chip usage. Likewise, we'll see that for the top 10k. This is a new channel. This is my favorite channel at the moment. Insider Trading it's called. And this channel tracks the moves that players and staff make on FPL. So if a player or a staff at a particular club makes a transfer concerning that club, then it will appear here. So it's interesting because sometimes you'll see a move that doesn't make sense on paper, like when Robbo sold Mane before there was any Mane news. In Gameweek 23, Tarkowski brought himself in. Love to see that. But yeah, as I say, there's a link to the Discord in the description, so do join us. We'll be there throughout the whole game week chatting as the games unfold, as the double game week unfolds. Ben hasn't voted in the captain poll because he keeps changing his mind. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one this week. Because I mean, I included Ben Mee in the thumbnail, and it's probably the only opportunity he'll ever get to be in a thumbnail. But, you know, you never know. Ben Mee could be the top scorer this double game week. You know, if Burnley end up keeping 2 clean sheets, you know, he picks up an assist or a goal, then, you know, it could easily be Ben Mee again. In fact, on the subject of the Kings of the Game Week, this is an update of where we are after Game Week 23. So there was a long streak going all the way back to Game Week 15 of defenders. You can see their hauls from Villa all the way to Game Week 22. We had a long streak of 8 defenders in a row, which Foden finally ended with his haul in Game Week 23. Be interesting to see who ends up the king of the game week this game week. There are already 4 City players before having made it, and of course City have got a double, so perhaps we'll see the first repeat name of the season, because so far all 23 names have been unique. So that's something, of course, we'll track as well week in, week out. Emotion Aside says, the Discord is great, can confirm. Sam C also says, best FPL Discord. Appreciate that, guys. Yeah, I do appreciate that. A lot of work went into the Discord, and I do pay monthly for all the bots that maintain those channels automatically. But yeah, it's been amazing actually how many people we've had join. We blew past 1,000. I think we've got like 1,100 in the Discord now. I think we're close to 300 subs as well. So let's go for 300 subs this stream. If anyone's not subbed, do hit the sub button now. Be good to have you back on future streams. There's a lot of familiar names and also some new ones. SD4, good to have you here. If this is your first time. Steve013, good to have you here. Luke Hanaho. I'm sorry if any of you guys have been on streams before, but if you haven't, welcome to FPL Focal. We are just over 15 minutes till the deadline. So let's have a look at the expected points for Game Week 24 next, courtesy of FPL Review. So FPL Review, they've got an algorithm which is more predictive than pure Bookies Odds. So I like to include them each week, because when you're looking at Goalscorer Odds, it doesn't tell you the whole picture, first of all, because that's purely just looking at the chances of them scoring a goal. Excuse me if the mic picked up my burp there. I've had 2 teas this morning to wake myself up. But obviously what you're concerned by is the points, not just the goals. So things like the clean sheets, the chance of an assist. So FPL Review, really useful for that. So something we track week in, week out. And this is how it looks for Game Week 24. And of course this is factored in both of the double game week games. So Sterling's actually way out in top with 10.76 expected points, followed by Edison with 8.4. So they're obviously fancying City to keep at least 1 clean sheet. Gundogan with 8.31 expected points. Diaz 8.24. Stones 8, just over 8. I mean, it's all City basically. Look how many City players are there in like the top 10. crazy. Pope's up there. Anyone chat captain in Pope or a Burnley defensive asset? It feels like it could be one of those game weeks where a wild captaincy such as Pope or Ben Mee ends up being the highest scorer. Luke asks, any interest in Cavani? Cavani, the problem with Cavani is you don't expect him to play week in, week out, right? He does seem to be first choice right now, and it is a very good fixture against West Brom, but I think if you pick up Cavani, you have to accept the risk that he could randomly get subbed off early, or Martial could start a game. But it's a very good fixture, West Brom, so I think he's a solid pick. And especially if you're planning to wildcard, say in game week 25 or 26, then he's a good pick for that reason as well, because it's a short-term punt with a very strong fixture against West Brom. And then following that, of course, they've got Newcastle at home as well. On the subject of home and away, I saw an interesting graphic earlier, which I wanted to share with you guys. So this is basically a measurement of home advantage in Europe's Big 5 leagues. So obviously, in terms of FPL, we're most concerned with Premier League. But what you can see, quite interestingly, is in basically all leagues, there's been a massive drop-off in home advantage. And it's easy to connect the dots. That's probably because of fans not at games, which makes a lot of sense. So I think most of us already kind of suspected this, but it's interesting to look at the data, because you can see the red line here in this graph is the Premier League home advantage, and it's completely fallen off a cliff from last season compared to this one. So home advantage really doesn't seem to be a thing you factor in your thinking anymore. Whereas I think in previous season it certainly came in my thinking. You'd look at two players and you'd be like, oh well, X is playing at home, Y is playing away, so I'll probably go for X. But certainly this season, I don't think it's worth factoring into your thinking at all, while there's no fans at games anyway. "15 minutes till the deadline, or just under. Nearly there, guys. Who's your captains for this game week, everyone? Who's chat captain him? Anyone else on Gundo? The Flisk says, all aboard the Gundo wagon. I'm very happy to be a passenger on the Gundo wagon. And I've got no plan to jump off at any station or sell my ticket. And hopefully the Gundo wagon can continue and not get derailed. Carl says Edison penalties. Yeah, it's something we talked about at the top of the stream. Pep was asked about Edison and penalties, and he gave a genuine answer saying that it's definitely possible for Edison to take penalties. So next time City win a penalty, it's going to be very interesting to see who steps up. The whole subject came about because, of course, Gundogan missed his penalty against Liverpool. It's a pretty poor penalty. And City just don't seem to have a reliable penalty taker. KDB's been fairly good, but he's missed a couple. Gundogan's taken 6 and he's missed 3 of those. Sterling's got a very poor record. I think Sterling's missed more than he scored. Aguero's got a pretty decent record, but again, he's missed a few and he's not in the side at the moment. So there's a big question mark at City still about their penalty takers. You know, they haven't really had a good penalty taker since Balotelli, and that's going back a bit. That must be going back almost a decade. Wuchi says, hey lads, damn, I'm late to the stream. That's alright. Glad you made it anyway. As always, as soon as the stream finishes, I will add the timestamps to the description for anyone that missed the bits earlier on. We've covered loads this stream, so there'll be loads to watch and catch up if you are interested, or if you want to have it on in the background. I've not actually looked at the order of fixtures, so who's first today? Oh, it's Leicester versus Liverpool. Wow. There we go. So it's Leicester v Liverpool. I didn't realise that was the first fixture of the day. What a fixture that is. Palace, Burnley, City, Spurs is also today. Some great fixtures today. Brighton Villa as well is the last game of the day. And of course, we've got fixtures Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. So loads of football to be played, loads of FPL, which is what we love, and which is why you guys are here. Appreciate you guys all being here. I can't believe the turnout on these streams. It's crazy. You know, a month ago probably we had like 10 people tuning into streams, so it's amazing to see the growth. Appreciate you all being here. So in terms of captains in the chat, lovely lad's gone Sterling. Grove's gone Gundogan. Nice. Carl's gone Sterling. Bilal's gone Ben Mee. Oh, Bilal, yes. Trust you to go for the differential. Love the Ben Mee pick. Hope it pays off. You know, hopefully, we talked earlier on the stream about Zaha's injury. He's going to miss the Burnley game. So you'd hope that we'll continue to see the trend that we've seen historically when Palace are out without Zaha, which is that they struggle to score and that they lose games. I'm trying to remember the statistic I read. Sky Sports had it on a game the other day, and it was something like in 18 games that Zaha's missed, they've lost something like 17 of them. It was a ridiculous stat. So they definitely suffer when he's not on the side. So fingers crossed for you, Ben, with the Bilal captain. Sorry, with the Ben Mee captain. Bilal captain, surely. Lord Bob, how we doing, mate? He says I need to bench either DCL or Son. DCL, because he's missed in the first game against Fulham, according to Ancelotti. Tom Clegg says start Watkins or Son. God, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I'd probably start Son, but I think I'm a minority with that. A lot of people are favouring the likes of Watkins, Souček over Son, so trust your gut on that one, because that one's an absolute coin toss, to be honest with you. Tim, how we doing? He says bench 2 from Maguire, Bamford, Grealish and Soufal. Currently benched Grealish and Soufal. I would definitely start Grealish, and I would probably start Bamford. I think I would prefer the midfielders and forwards in that situation when it's a coin toss, because you'd argue that they've got a higher ceiling. You know, Maguire and Soufal, really you're expecting a clean sheet, maybe a small chance of a goal or an assist, but you know, Bamford and Grealish, they could concede, but they could easily assist or score. So that's what I would probably do if I had those players. Ollie asks, what chips do you have left? I have my second wildcard, my bench boost, and my free hit. I made the decision to ride out blank Gameweek 18, and I only fielded 7 players, so it was a pretty desperate game week. But one thing I was saying on streams at the time is if you can field the players that are highly owned, then it's not the end of the world, because you're at least covered and you're not exposed in that sense. And that game week I had a really stacked midfield 5 of basically all the players that people on a free hit had anyway, so I wasn't too worried, and I felt, you know, comfortable enough to ride out the blank even with only 7 players. And it was a red arrow, but not a significant one. So I'm glad to still have it, because there's going to be other opportunities to use it. We're going to have lots of doubles to come, blanks to come as well. So these are the fixtures that have been postponed and yet to be rearranged. So we've talked earlier on the stream about Ben Crellin's double game week ticker, and there's obviously doubles to come in 24, 25, 26 and potentially 27 and 28, and also later in the season. But those fixtures don't include this, so above and beyond that, Villa have got 2 home games to be rearranged, Spurs have got 2 away, City have got a game. So there's lots of fixtures to be rearranged and lots of doubles to come. So all the teams you see here will have double game weeks later in the season. Would you ask Soufal or Son first bench? I would go Soufal. I mean, that's exactly what I've done here. I'd go Soufal on the bench and start Son. Zaya asks, what do you think about triple captain Gundogan this week if I'm bench boost 26? Or should I wait for more info? Yeah, I'd wait for more info. Obviously, just now I talked about the postponed fixtures yet to be rearranged, and Spurs have got 2 yet to be rearranged. So therefore, Spurs are going to have another 2 doubles on top of that. So therefore, I would say Son or Kane are probably a better triple captain option later in the season whenever those fixtures get rearranged for. I mean, it is a double for City, of course, but it's Tottenham and Everton, which isn't the most eye-catching double. Whereas, Spurs have got a double against Fulham to be rearranged, and I forget the other one off the top of my head now. But you'd think that's probably a better double to triple captain on than Gundo. Hiko, how are we doing? He says Gundogan triple or Sterling triple captain. Yeah, same answer. I would personally not triple at all. I would wait till later in the season. I think there's going to be better opportunities to use your triple captain than this week. Personally, Gundogan and Sterling could do very well, but I think there's going to be even better opportunities on paper to use the triple captain. I mean, 26 is going to be a standout opportunity. Spurs very likely to have a very, very good double. But also later in the season, Spurs have got more blanks to be rearranged, and so do City. Samir says start 2 of Son, Rafinha, Soufal and Antonio. Oh, that's a tough one. I'd start Antonio and I would start Son probably. But yeah, I mean, the way City's defence has been, as Carl says, will Spurs score? He doesn't reckon they will. I'm not sure either, but we did see Spurs get it spot on earlier in the season with their 2-0 win against City, which was Son goal, Kane assist, and vice versa. 5 minutes till the deadline, Sujit says. Nearly there. Make sure your bench is in the right order. I can't believe I've got DCL on the bench. So annoying. I picked him up a few game weeks ago because I anticipated there would be a double in 24 involving Everton. And then it was announced, and I was delighted to have done that early transfer. And then, lo and behold, he gets injured. And lo and behold, I benched him in Gameweek 23 when he got the goal and assist. Really annoyingly. I started Antonio instead. I mean, on paper, it seemed like a good move, but got that one absolutely wrong. But I don't think I was alone in the DCL benching. Have you guys got any horror stories from this season? Any transfers that have gone horribly wrong? Or anyone you've put on the bench who's hauled? I'd love to hear any moves you guys have made that have gone absolutely tits up, so I can feel better about the ones I've done. As I said, in my case, I sold Salah before he came off the bench against Palace because I thought, well, he's going to be benched, so there could be an opportunity to go elsewhere. So I sold Salah for Rashford, who played Leeds, and United put 6 past Leeds, but Rashford wasn't involved in any of them. And of course, Salah came off the bench and hauled. So that was probably the worst move of the season. And if I wasn't aware of the leaks, I never would have done that move. So maybe the moral of the story is don't overthink it sometimes. Ahmad says start Mitchell or Son. I would start Son, absolutely. I kind of wonder if Mitchell will even stay in the starting 11. Yeah, they lost 2-0 to Leeds, which isn't a great result, really. They're obviously really missing Zaha, and I wonder if Van Aanholt drops into left back, and then maybe Townsend starts this one because Townsend was on the bench last game. They need, they need more attackers really, because they're not scoring in Zaha's absence. That's been a trend for multiple seasons, not just a recent thing. So he needs to try and fix that, but easier said than done. Dylan says, I'm benching Antonio now. Maybe you'll get a 1-pointer or come off early. Yeah, maybe. Antonio, obviously not even in the squad midweek in the FA Cup. Moy said that he should be fine for the Sheffield game, so I'm hopeful that he starts and gets good minutes, but we might see his minutes managed. The game's on Monday, which is favourable because he's got an extra couple of days before that fixture to recover. from whatever it was, his hamstring. El Padrino says 8 of my last 10 captains have blanked. Who have you captained this week, Padrino, so we know who not to pick? Sorry, mate. That was mean. Now, that's unfortunate. I went on a really similar streak end of last season. End of last season, I was sitting at a decent rank. I think I was about 100k. And then I ended up getting so many captain blanks that I ended up getting like 1 assist from my captains in like the last 8 game weeks of the season. Really annoying end to the season. Still ended up top 100k, but it could have been so much higher if I just nailed the captaincies. And it is important. You have to get the captaincies right. But it really, really can cost you. So let's hope everyone nails their captain this week. In my case, Captain Gundogan. 1 minute till the deadline. Everyone make sure your team is saved, bench in the right order. I suppose I put Mitchell ahead of DCL, right? Last minute change. Oh shit, what can go wrong? Mitchell second on bench, DCL's last. Yeah, I mean DCL, he's likely to only play the City game, so what are the chances of him returning, right? Sorry, DCL. Wuchi has called it. It's deadline time. All aboard the Gundo train, he says. Good to see lots of passengers in the Gundo train. Locked in. Good luck. Next stop, Regret Station. Ollie says, I just saw the future 2 hours from now and Salah has a brace. Wow. Well, we'll definitely come back to that if that turns out true on the next stream. And I hope you're right. Dennis says, all my defenders, including goalkeeper, have a double. Nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, hopefully we'll see some big scores from chat this week. Gameweek24 is here. I like it when there's games midweek as well. We've obviously got Monday fixtures, Wednesday fixtures, so it's something to look forward to in the week as well, after work. Thank you everyone that has tuned into this stream. Really, really good turnout. Can't believe how many have turned up. Arif, Addy, Armat, Bilal, Dylan, El Padrino, Kitty, Grove, Carl, Ollie, Stewart, Sujit, Wuchi, anyone else I've missed. Appreciate you all being here. Don't forget to like the video before you go and sub to the channel if you're not. Be good to have you all back on future streams, those of you that are new, and appreciate all the familiar names that are back with another deadline stream. As always, we do deadline streams every game week and post game week streams as well to look at how the game week went, the news and so on. So I'll be back at some point next week with a post game week 24 stream. Fingers crossed we've all had massive scores, but for now guys, I'm going to finish the stream there. Thank you so much all for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.